Hi, it's Rupert Hine here from Action Coach near Kinross, and I'm joined today by Barbara Neilon of Jameson Law. Welcome, Barbara.
Thank you very much for having me, Rupert. It's nice to be here.
So, I guess there's a bit of a clue in the title, but tell us, who are Jameson Law, and in particular, what is it that you specialise in?
So, Jameson Law, we are a commercial and corporate law firm at the heart of it. If you were trying to pigeonhole us, that's where you would put us. But we describe ourselves and kind of live the values in a bit of a different way. So what we're offering should look and feel a little different from a kind of traditional law firm experience. So essentially, when you have a business that's growing and scaling, a lot of the time you'll need that legal support, but you might not be the kind of size and scale or even want really a kind of in-house legal team or a very expensive, fancy, London-based law firm or whatever you would want to do. And we have these businesses who are in this growth phase of their journey, and they could be there for 5, 10, 15 years. And they need that legal support in order to negotiate their client contracts, deal with suppliers coming in, deal with their staff, bring in investment, exit the business, all of these things, but they don't necessarily have the appetite to go out and deal with a huge law firm. So what we're trying to offer is a much more personalized service. It should feel to our clients almost as if we're an extension of their own team. So we really get to know the business. We understand how our clients work, how they don't like to work, which is sometimes just as important. And we pride ourselves on that kind of personal relationship that should feel a bit more commercial than simply sending something to a lawyer and getting it back.
Fantastic. So, how did you get to the point of, what took you to set up a law firm to do just that?
It was an accident. I have to say I didn't do it with some grand master plan. Um, Myself and my business partner Lynn, so we run the firm together. Both of us were big firm trained and qualified there and stayed with big firms for a certain period of time. Lynn much longer than me. I was kind of in-house, so I kind of moved around a little and I was in an investment management firm for a few years as well. But essentially for both of us, it became a case of being a little disillusioned as to big law really and kind of seeing smaller clients or kind of I guess less valuable clients to the big firms coming through the doors either not being treated the way that they deserve to be treated or being charged through the nose for it. And we thought there's this real gap, there's these high street firms that deal with divorces and conveyancing and wills and all those kind of things. And then there's the big firms that deal with the corporate and the commercial work, but there didn't seem to be much in the middle. So we thought there was a gap there, and then a gap in terms of the way that clients were managed and treated. So essentially, I freelanced for a while, working for kind of small, medium-sized businesses, and then I decided to set the firm up. But as I say, it was a bit of an accident. I was freelancing, and I thought I may as well just do this myself rather than doing it through other kind of platform firms. And it grew very quickly in a way that I wasn't expecting. And so very quickly I asked Lynn if she would please come and help me. And we've been running the firm together ever since.
Fantastic. So, I mean, it's quite a big step moving from working for other people to
Yeah,
running a business yourself.
yeah.
What have been the biggest challenges that you found moving into that world of business ownership?
So I feel like I had a stepping stone. Lynn didn't. Lynn came from working for the big firms to coming straight with me. Because I freelanced for a few years, I essentially ran my own business as a consultancy. But it's not the same. It's definitely not the same. It was a kind of stepping stone. Um, the biggest challenges, there's been many at different stages. At the beginning, it's how you get your clients and how you get a reputation out there. At the very start, there was a lot of I don't know who you are. I've never heard of you. How do I know I can trust you? So there was a lot of kind of trying to convince people you were legitimate, which was really difficult because how do you convince someone you're legitimate or that you're not? It's very odd. So that was the biggest challenge. And an ongoing challenge since then has really been work-life balance, capacity, trying to grow and scale the business while also trying to have a family life and, just a life. It's, I think, very easy to be sucked in, and it's very hard to pull yourself out of that, and not be completely and utterly wedded to the business. So that has been a major challenge that's gone over time. And another one has been hiring. I find hiring to be a challenge. We now have a really great team, but it's taken a long time to get there. We're trying to hire for a kind of mid to senior level solicitor right now. It's a hard role to hire for. We've hired for it before and it hasn't worked out. So bringing people into the business when they're not necessarily a cultural fit or just not what you're looking for, and then having to deal with the repercussions of that has been a challenge as well.
Yeah, and it's interesting. Quite a few um, conversations like this. It's probably the thing that new business, newish business owners. It's that first hire,
Yeah,
and it's the fact that it's a huge responsibility, both for the business and indeed for the individuals that you bring into the team.
100%.
Um,
Yeah.
and it's great hearing you talk about the cultural fit
Yeah.
because it's hugely important. What have you done so far to help you find the right fit with prospective team
Well,
members?
I have to say that we've done it wrong many times. So so I have learned as I have gone. Honestly, it's the probably the totally wrong answer, but now Lynn and I are trusting our gut a lot more. Before, I feel like we maybe panic hired, and we were, things were coming up. A few years ago, I was going on maternity leave, so we knew we had to hire someone, so it felt like there was a pressure. Things like that caused us to rush into decisions. The last four hires we have made have been fantastic hires, and we have gone with our gut. Um, we've also taken a little bit more time over it. There's always a panic there that somebody's going to just pull themselves out of the process because they don't want to wait around, but we have taken a bit more time. And for the lawyers that we've hired, we've asked them to do a kind of 1 hour exercise just to kind of how would you review this document? What are some of the comments you would make? As I mentioned at the start, we try and do things a little differently from other firms. So we want our comments to clients to be very commercial and pragmatic. This clause means this. This is your risk. What do you want to do? And sometimes that can be quite a mindset shift for lawyers, if particularly if they're big firm trained. They can speak in a lot of legal jargon. It can be quite complicated. That's not what our clients are looking for. So that has been a good test to see how they respond to the kind of work we're getting day to day.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's yes, lots of opportunities for. I always like to think about recruitment as a deselection process. Help people to deselect themselves if they're not the right.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Uh, so yeah, it's really good. What about you? You mentioned the challenge of initially finding clients.
Yeah.
And it's one of the four big things every business has got to do. You've got to attract inquiries, you've got to convert them into clients,
Yeah.
you've got to deliver the work, and then you've got to collect the money afterwards.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what have you found over what you're coming on for 5.5 years?
5.5 years. Yeah. Yeah.
So over those 5.5 years, what have you found been the most effective marketing strategies for bringing your new clients?
That has changed as well. So at the beginning, I was all over LinkedIn videos. I'm still all over LinkedIn, but 5 years ago, I mean, I decided to set up the business in March 2020. Perfect timing. So I mean, I was still freelancing at the same time to kind of pay the bills while I set up the business. But my freelancing fell off a cliff for obvious reasons. So I had a bit more time in my hands. So I was actually spending my days recording videos for LinkedIn on why do you need a client contract? What should your terms and conditions look like? And I put them up on LinkedIn, and then I'd spend my days connecting with people, just sending them connection requests, which worked really, really well. Um, as with any social media platform, the algorithm doesn't work quite as well as it used to. So all our clients used to come from LinkedIn. What's really interesting is our best and highest value clients now are almost all still those ones from LinkedIn, that we had years ago. Now, LinkedIn is a bit more challenging. The algorithm doesn't move in the same way that it used to, but we've started doing a lot more live videos, and that seems to help the drive to the page. Um, Now it's referrals though. It's referrals. It's reaching out to our current clients and our network. We work with a lot of accountants, tax advisors, brokers, etc., who can recommend us. Referral clients are always the ones they're the easiest to convert and they're good clients.
Yeah,
Yeah.
referrals. Once you've built the reputation,
Yeah. Or you
so
can,
that
yes,
you
you cannot rely on referrals at the beginning.
and I mean, it's interesting. I don't know how much you find it with referrals. They're hugely powerful,
Yeah.
but they're quite reactive.
Yeah.
Unless you've got a really good referral strategy, it's they sort of appear when they appear.
Yes, absolutely. And you kind of that is a drawback with the referral approach. You know, they might all come in at once and then you don't receive any for months. We are working on a referral strategy at the moment. So we've been kind of doing active outreach to people like accountants and kind of corporate finance advisors, etc. It doesn't land as well. I have to say. So that's something we're working on at the moment. So we're by no means perfect in this. I think what I've been advised is a good referral strategy, which I've just never had the time to do, is just to keep canvassing your current clients and ringing them and asking them. When I get some time in my day, I'll probably do that as the referral strategy. But at the moment, we're so busy that it's okay. It's okay if they don't come in when they're expected to come in.
There's I don't know whether you've heard. There's a guy called Andy Bounds.
Oh no, I haven't.
So Andy is billed as Britain's best sales trainer.
Right.
He's an incredible guy from Merseyside,
Okay.
and he's got a really nice referral strategy. It's all in. He's written a number of good books, and the Jelly Effect is one I particularly like. But he's
That's very helpful to know. Thank you.
some good
I'll look
stuff in
into
there,
that.
which is pretty much just building on exactly what you're talking about, which is
Yeah,
nice.
absolutely. Well, I'll look into that for sure.
So what would you say is the what piece of advice would you give your 18-year-old self starting out on your business journey?
That's really difficult. When I was 18, um, I actually didn't even know I wanted to be a lawyer. I went to do a law degree because it seemed like a good degree and I had the grades for it. And I thought, well, at least I can get a decent degree and then I can work out what I wanted to do. So I actually, you know, 4 year university degree, I didn't really decide I wanted to be a lawyer until halfway through year three. Um, but I guess if I was looking back now, I would say kind of embrace the process a bit more rather than just thinking, we'll see where we end up. Maybe try and have a bit more of a plan. I'm having said that, it's not gone too badly for me, but if I'd had more of a plan and kind of thought about where I was going a bit more, then maybe some of my actions would have been a bit more intentional. Um, for me, it's probably more kind of what would you say to your 28-year-old self? Because that's about the time where I decided that big law wasn't really for me and I was going to do things a little bit differently. Um, and then I would definitely say embrace it properly and do this properly and don't just flit about and see what happens. Like have some kind of plan and process for how you're going to approach things. To be honest, it's advice I could probably still take now.
The thing is that even with um, the path that you've just described, you've been fantastically open about some of the challenges along the way, but challenge is the bedrock of
Yeah.
finding the ways that work,
Yeah,
and having that ability to embrace the challenge is, you know, we all make mistakes, and
absolutely.
they're only really a mistake if you don't learn anything from them.
Absolutely. I think though, because I didn't have a plan, whenever things have happened with the business, etc., it's almost a surprise. So because I didn't really, I mean, I planned to just basically run a consultancy by myself and that would pay my salary and that would be fine. I think if I'd have had more of a plan, the long work hours and the need to hire people and all these things wouldn't have come as such of a shock. I mean, they were a bit of a surprise to me. I just didn't expect it. I've been very lucky, but I didn't expect it to go the way that it did.
Well, it's brilliant to see it going that way, and seeing you know come from nothing to produce this proactive, really vibrant firm.
Thank you.
Where are you going to be in 10 years' time?
10 years' time, hopefully still here. Um, our aim for the firm is to be a bit bigger than it currently is, but never huge. We want to stay as a boutique size firm. My concern would be if we started having departments and, too many staff to manage. And I think that then moves us away from what we're trying to accomplish. We're never going to be a big firm, and that's not what we're trying to do. There's plenty big firms out there that can fill that gap. The reason we need to be a bit bigger is because work-life balance, too much sitting with the founders, and just even when it's very busy, the team is under pressure. So we need to be a bit bigger, but not significantly so. We have some efficiencies that we've been working on for a while that we could continue to improve on. But really, I mean, in 10 years' time, I'd really just like us to be a really well-known name in the market. Not for size, not the way that the big firms are, but just to be known as a really trusted, reliable boutique firm that offers that very different, personal, kind of pragmatic service. Um, yeah, I think it's about just getting our name out there a bit more.
Fantastic. I mean, you pretty much got two ways of scaling a business. You
Yeah,
go big, or you get more specialist, and you just
yeah,
become better and better and better
yeah,
at that niche that's yours.
yeah.
And I'll really look forward to watching you do just that.
Thank you very much. I very appreciate that.
Thank you very much for sharing that journey with us. That's been
No problem.
fantastic.
Hope it's been helpful.
Absolutely. And yeah, best of luck for the future.
Thank you so much. And thank you so much for having me on.